Hi, it's me, Ash, and I am going to do a video on this look. And yeah, it's early morning and I'm tired and I have that pimple on my face. Anyways, I'm going to first start off with moisturizing my skin because that's really important, especially if you have dry skin like me. And then I'm going to add some glow serum oil from Wonder Beauty, whatever it's called. And even if you don't have dry skin, it's important to moisturize even oily skin. So yeah, anyways, moving on, I'm going to do my brows. I'm using the medium brown KVD pomade. It is my favorite pomade ever. So yeah, I have a lot of people who ask me how I do my brows or what I use in my brows. I don't know why. My brows are pretty basic, but yeah, I just like to fill them in and leave them nice and dark. But yeah, I'll just fill them in and then I use some concealer and I carve them out. I'm never perfect with my brows. I just don't care to take the time to be super careful. I'd rather just carve them out. It's what works for me. I know some people can't do that. They can't carve their brows out. They just can't, like, I guess, blend out the concealer. I don't have any issues with that most of the time. There have been a few times I look at my brows and I'm like, geez, you can still see that line. But I've gotten pretty good at making sure that's not the case. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and last summer the smoke got so bad, and there were fires really close to where I live, and we almost had to evacuate. Well, they had a warning out that we could potentially have fires because the weather was perfect with the wind and the dryness, and a small bushfire actually did happen. Luckily, they got it like under control and it wasn't massive, but it's still terrifying to me to think that we could end up again with a summer where we have big flakes of ashes everywhere or even potentially losing homes again. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on from that, I primed my eyes and I went into that deep brown shade in the Lunatic Relic palette. I like this brand and I like their shadow formula. Um, yeah, so I just went into that dark brown and I added it to my outer V area. And it was nice and pigmented and applied nice. I've used this palette a couple of times, so yep. And then I went into that center shade and I placed it on my inner lids and crease area, my inner crease area, and kind of dragged it towards the rest where that brown is. The shade is super pigmented. And honestly, in their promo shot of the picture of this palette or whatever, it looks far more orange than what it really is. It's more of a pinky brown, mauvey kind of shade. I kind of wish they'd fix that because when I did buy the palette, I thought I was going to have that bright orange shade in it. But anyways, yeah, I do that to the other eye. And it looks like a big mess. And then I went into the other shade because I needed to blend it out and buff it out more. It was just too much. So I used the lightest shade in the palette and kind of buffed everything out. And I'm using a fluffy brush. There is my son. He needed something, so he was telling me about his Pokemon game, and he's been playing the Game Boy Silver Pokemon, and he is really excited about it. But anyways, I do that to the other eye. And I just really try to buff that stuff out. Then I went back in with that dark brown to deepen up the corners again. Since I had buffed some of it away, I still wanted some deep dark pigment there. And you do it to the other eye too. I really like this palette for a deep grungy look. It's great. It is super neutral for me, but you can really darken it up. So I appreciate that. And because I'm doing very large wings and doing my wings on camera, I decided to use those elf strips. They're super cheap and they do come in handy. And if you're not good at wings, they're great for that too, just as long as you put them on and make sure they're in the same spot on each side. They're great for that. So yeah, anyways, I go in with that Epic NYX liner and I add a big fat wing because I'm wearing neutral tones and it's too basic for me. I've got to go big. I want to be, yeah. When I was walking around with my big wings, I just could not help but keep thinking of that stupid R. Kelly song. I hate R. Kelly, okay? I freaking hate him. But the I Believe I Can Fly, that song, yeah, it kept popping up in my head because my wings were so massive. Definitely from the 90s, and yeah. Anyways, R. Kelly's a douche, but you know. I like that NYX Epic liner. It's really nice and easy. The only thing I don't like about it is it's not matte. It is kind of shiny, and I do prefer my liners generally to be matte, but it works pretty good, and I really like the tip on it. It's nice and precise. So yeah, and now that the wings are done, I remove those elf things and I add some glitter glue to the bottom of my lashes, or underneath my bottom lashes, I should say, because I am going to go in with the Apocalyptic Beauty Star-Crossed Lovers Julia, I believe is what it's called, pigment, and I'm going to throw that underneath my eyes because I'm wearing browns. I figured I would go semi-basic and throw in a pop of blue. I just don't think you can go wrong with adding a pop of blue when you've got some brown on your eyes if you're looking to brighten them up. So if you do try to recreate this look and you hate wings, you can totally not add them on. I'm going to go in with that Becca Velvet Blurring Primer, and I'm going to use a beauty blender and put that on my skin. I think this stuff smells kind of funky, but I do like the way it performs. Then I'm going to go in with my favorite BB cream. This is my go-to. I've gone through a few of these. Yeah, it's my favorite. So I'm just going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to put it all over my face. And I do wet my beauty blender before everything. I don't know if anybody else is doing that. So I know some people use their sponges dry, but I like to use my sponges moist, that lovely word. I normally do my foundation first, but I was feeling unusual today, so I did my eyes first and then my base. I went in with the color Pop pencil. I don't know what the color is, and I threw it on my waterline. And that one actually performed pretty good. Their stuff is so hit and miss with their liners. I go into my favorite face palettes, the Alamar palette, and I go into both of those bronzers. This is their bronzer palette, and it's in like shade light, but they don't make this one anymore. They have a different one. and I'm going to have to try it even though this is my favorite. I'm hitting pan on 2 of the 3 shades and it will be gone soon. I'm going to go into the enhancing brightening powder and I'm going to throw the rest of it, that on the rest of my face. Because I don't really like using a lot of setting powder and that stuff's perfect. I go into the Blush Crush from KBD and I take that nice deep blush and I throw it on my upper cheeks and temple area because I like throwing my blush up higher than what it really is to kind of lift my face and thin my face out some. Since I am a plus size person, I took a beauty sponge and I pressed it in because it was a little bit deep, and yeah, and then I used that highlighter and I tossed that on my, my cheekbone, I guess, and a little bit on my temple, and then I throw a little bit on my nose and my Cupid's bow area, and I also end up using that for my inner corner later in the video because I didn't have inner corner on. And I did my lashes off camera, and there's me throwing that highlighter on, and I throw on some lips, and this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, or dislike and comment. Bye bye.